It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Welcome to the 100th episode of A Cup of Coffee with Wild Will and Uncle Chris.
We're up to 100 already?
100 episodes.
Wow.
That's 100 straight weeks that our community and surrounding areas have listened to us for 30 minutes on the weekly. Boy, it's been fun. We'll look back at the last 100 episodes and tell you our favorite part over the first 100. We'll honor Chief Gary Launderville. Really cool retirement party last week. Plus, this Christmas over the last week. Man, what a great time of year. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, I had a great Christmas. Had some family in from out of town. Ate way too much and all that stuff. It was so cold. You know, the weather was so bad we were kind of stuck inside, but it was good.
Yeah, man, even some power outages during that ice storm. We'll tell you about that. Also, holiday with the horses. It came and gone, but we took Brinley out a couple weeks ago. We'll show you that. Also, you know, real Christmas trees, if you use them, what do you do afterwards? Well, MoDOT has a use for those. We'll tell you about that. Hometown heroes, football, Mizzou, all kinds of stuff on our 100th edition of A Cup of Coffee with Will and Chris. But first, from Slumberland at the Lake, our man, Daryl Cunningham.
Hey everyone, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Just a reminder, we have our inventory reduction sale going on. We have over $1 million worth of furniture we're wanting to get rid of. Come take advantage of our overstocks, pay great prices on lots of furniture, deliver the entire lake area and beyond. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
You'll have to pinch me. I'm having a hard time believing. Yeah, don't do it too hard. Gotta be careful when I give you instructions like that. But Uncle Chris, 100 episodes of A Cup of Coffee with Will and Chris.
Seems like we just started, really. I mean, we've been doing this for 2 years. We'll be doing it for at least 3 years, and it's fun. I mean, it really is fun coming here every day, Slumberland Furniture every day, every week, and doing the show, because we get caught up on stuff. We do a lot of laughing and have fun. I mean, if you're watching, it looks like we're having fun. That's not fake, but we are. We're having a good time.
Yeah, we are having a blast. And you mentioned it, but yeah, really excited to announce that we've agreed in terms with Joe Ray and Slumberland Furniture for year 3 of A Cup of Coffee with Will and Chris. Of course, 26 episodes in the can for this year, actually more like 35 episodes. So we're rounding up our second year. We'll end that in February and start year 3. So super excited. But if we had to look back at 100 episodes, what's been maybe one of your highlights or favorite parts so far?
You know what? Probably when we were dealing with the COVID stuff and the hospital stuff, and we came down hard on Lake Regional for their stances that didn't seem to be good for the community or their workers, and we caught a lot of flack for that. But a ton of people gave us great feedback about that too, and I really appreciated that. And whenever you're gone, which is very rare, it's only been, I think you've missed like 2 shows in 2 years, right? So, and I always joke with somebody about whoever's here is that, you know, they're prettier than Will or something like that, but I always miss you when you're not here. So,
Aww,
you know.
You are so sweet to me, and I have to mimic that because I also have so much fun. Really a dream come true. I grew up kind of wanting to have either my own radio show or my own podcast, you know, as you started to see that. And so Cup of Coffee has given us that outlet and that opportunity, and through 100 episodes, over 2 million viewers, believe it or not. That's crazy to me. But the COVID coverage for me was also probably my favorite part, and some of the political coverage, because at first, just being honest, you know, I'd see a Lake Expo headline and I'd know that was a hot topic, and so I would just kind of mimic what they wrote in the article. And so as we were forced with some serious issues, like you said, COVID, Lake Regional with hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, that situation is seeing how serious that was. Forced me to realize good journalism is reaching out to all parties involved, giving them an opportunity to field it and confirm whether or not what you read was factual. And this show and the amount of people that have watched and called me a schmuck, an idiot, a clueless kid living in his grandma's basement has forced me to take this way more seriously and learn what journalism is about. And now as you look at a lot of the stuff that we were really the first in this area, in mid-Missouri and really across the Midwest, that highlighted at the level that we did. And at first, no one really took us seriously except for a select few. And now all of that is accepted as reality.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool for us.
And, I mean, one of my favorite shows back during that time was we did a show one week where we called out, the COVID misinformation. They call us misinformation when their crap is misinformation.
Right.
So we got so much flack on social media. You guys are a couple of yahoos, blah, 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 blah. So we came back the next week with proof of what we said, okay? They've been counting COVID deaths, gunshot wounds to the head as COVID. We read you the story,
Gave you cited the source.
And there were like 10 of those where you called us yahoos and we came back with the facts, That was kind of fun too. Because there is a lot of disinformation out there.
And I feel like not just with that, but some of the political stuff that we've done, that we've made a difference highlighting some of these people. At any battle that we've kind of picked up, we've yet to lose a battle, if you will, as far as when we get involved and find something to be important for the lake area, we've yet to lose a battle as far as the person that we've endorsed not getting elected or the person that we're fighting against not getting voted out of office. And so we feel like we've made a difference. And so we really appreciate you guys tuning in and giving us a reason to do this. And lastly, hometown heroes, to get to highlight so many great people in our community. I've also loved that.
Yeah, and something we decided to do, you really decided to do at some point, was not take money from political candidates, right? Because that would, if we're truly honest, that would affect the way we report on things.
It would have to.
We might not say something about somebody that we knew or something because they were giving us money. So we just decided not to take any political money so that we could be honest about everything that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And I think that gives us a little bit of integrity too.
Yeah, and when you look at news media, you really, if you're going to take political money, you can't really expect to be taken seriously when it comes to political coverage.
Yeah.
Because how can you cover something and then in the middle of that article see the candidate that you're talking about, see their opponent with banner ads? It's like, does that look?
Yeah.
So we decided we would not take political money. That way we could stay true to what we felt like the community needed to hear without compromising that truth. And I feel like we've done that. And you've been huge in that for me and leading that so I can see what's important, what people want to see. And so we're excited about year 3 because we're just going to continue to strive to be better, bring you guys better stories, and have more fun. And I'm telling you, it's going to be hard to top the first 2 years.
Yeah, we've had a good time, a great time, absolutely.
Can I see you eat some more weird stuff this year, please?
No. I'm out on eating the weird stuff.
Man,
that's you and DJ Kyle.
But that is so fun. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're at least going to do the Sprite challenge. That wouldn't be bad, right?
No, I think I can drink some Sprite.
Okay, we're going to chug a whole Sprite in the coming weeks so you guys can get ready for that. Okay.
I can't say I'm not going to belch a time or
Yeah,
two,
that's the whole point.
Oh, that is? Okay.
We'll be belching like crazy. Why don't you let Andrew get in on that?
I would Andrew needs to do that instead of me.
No, how about we get Andrew, Unique, you, and me, and we do a 4-person Sprite challenge and see who lets the most loud, obnoxious belch.
You know what? Andy's been cheating in our football pool.
That's true.
He's in the lead, but I think it's because he's been listening to our picks, and then he'll go and make his picks.
No, I'm gonna tell you what really happened. Andrew stumbled upon Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
And now watches his podcast religiously. And so Pat offers a lot of really good insight, probably even better than you and I.
Yeah.
And something tells me Pat McAfee probably has more viewers and listeners too.
I think I'm going to make a comeback in the playoffs and win this thing. Like last year, I am the reigning champion.
I think that's about as likely to happen as the Lions winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But you're actually beating me this year so far. I think you're 2 points in front of me.
The sun shines on a dog's butt every once in a while.
I tell you what, I made up a couple of points on you this week, though. So
all right, so, hey, we told you last week that Chief Gary Launderville was set to retire. Well, last Tuesday was his actual retirement party at the city of Lake Ozarks City Hall. We went, oh my goodness, it was so cool. We had so many people there, his wife Sandy, his kids, grandkids. There were gifts given. There was an award given to Chief Launderville. One of the coolest things I saw was the city and his police department and a lot of his deputies and City Hall had given him this really cool wooden rocking chair, and it's got the city of Lake Ozark police emblem on the rocking chair.
That's cool.
Kind of like, and he sat in it as you see there. I didn't think he was going to get back up, but when you hear the difference that he made in so many people's lives, it was really cool. And his son came and awarded his mom a Glock. Said, Dad always gets the,
nice.
Their dad always gets all the credit. He's highly celebrated, and Mom behind the scenes has always made that possible. So they gave her a Glock with pink on it. It was really, really cool. And then a lot of deputies spoke, a lot of people in the city, including Harrison Fry, who was on What's Burning this week, getting ready to wrap up the week, but talking about what's going on in the city of Lake Ozark, nightly rentals. I didn't realize that Harrison Fry was so greatly impacted by Chief Gary Launderville when he came to Lake Ozark as a newbie. Chief Launderville kind of took him under his wing like he does so many young people. And so just to see the difference this guy makes, it was really cool to attend that. And, I mean, the place was packed. You'd have thought it was another alderman meeting with a lot of tension and a lot of hot button issues. But it wasn't. It was to celebrate this guy. And boy, I'll tell you what, just really, really cool. And one more time, congratulations to Chief Gary Launderville, beautiful wife Sandy, and their amazing family. Over 40 years in law enforcement.
Wow. Those are the true heroes right there. And he deserves, hopefully he'll have a great retirement.
Yeah, and really them together, Chief Gary Launderville, Sandy Launderville, and their incredible family, amazing people. So I told you a little bit about it. Chris, have you heard of the holiday with the horses out at the Forget-Me-Not?
Yeah, I have been out there with you briefly, and I think it was when that first time you did a tour of the facility out there for our nonprofit tour on Lake TV, right? Great place.
Oh, incredible. And some years they have it 3 or 4 times. This year they had it the first Sunday and then 2 weeks later on that Saturday. So they had 2 opportunities. We went that Saturday, and I'm telling you, they had Santa there that had a pony with him, and he was in the stable so you could get your picture with Santa. They did cookie decorating. You made your own photo frame to put your picture with Santa in, and you could pet the mini ponies and horses. And the coolest thing was you could actually ride the horses. And so Unique and I took Brinley out there, and it was just $10 to get in. All that money goes directly to the Forget-Me-Not Horse Rescue and Sanctuary. And if you haven't been there out in Lynn Creek, unbelievable facility, what they do out there. And they have live music, Chris. And so I was shocked how good Brinley did.
Yeah.
We got her out there freezing cold that day, didn't stop her. As soon as we got in, she wanted to walk over, she wanted to pet and feed the horses. She even got on the back of a horse and rode by herself. No one holding on to her.
Wow.
They thought she was like 10 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
and she's what, 3, right?
2. Just 2 years old. And so she blows our mind all the time. But I'm telling you, for families, it does not get any better than Holiday with the Horses at the Forget-Me-Not Horse Rescue and Sanctuary. Our good friends Stephen and Lauren Chrisman were there with their kids Barrett and Andy and their parents. And really, you'd be hard-pressed to find something better in mid-Missouri for the holiday time.
Yeah, especially if you love horses, love animals. It's right off A Road, is that right?
Yeah, down A Road, and then you turn left out where Deer Chase used to be out there. Might still be. Really unfamiliar with that area. But
do you ride horses much? Have you rode horses much?
No, I mean, I have out at the state park when I was younger through a school program out there at the stables, but I haven't a lot. I mean, I love going out to Forget-Me-Not because I've been out there 4 or 5 times now. We've done a couple of stories, and really cool because horses are a lot like humans. You know, they have a lot of the same ticks and weird things. You notice when a horse has been mistreated. You're going to take a while to gain its trust. Same with a human. So it's pretty cool. But no, I'm not real familiar or spent a lot of time around them.
Yeah, and they're such a big animal. They can be intimidating.
Very much so.
You know, I grew up in Wyoming, so I rode horses hunting and doing that stuff. And
so you're familiar with horses?
I used to ride quite a bit when I was younger. I haven't in a long time.
Wild Bill Cody.
That's right.
I'm surprised that you're not wearing your cowboy boots.
Yeah, well, it usually gets thick enough around me. I need my boots, right? You know. So.
That's beautiful. But hey, so although it's over, just look forward next year, the first Sunday, and then at least one or two other opportunities throughout December to do that. But well worth it. It always starts at 11 and goes until about 3. All right, so did you notice over Christmas, lots of cool stuff was happening, but one thing that was a little unexpected and might have thrown people for a loop was the ice storm. We had serious power outages over the weekend, and I spoke with Ameren to follow up on their story that, Lake Expo put together. There was 5,000 customers still without power as of 8:45 Friday. In Jeff City, they had another 1,400 without power, 1,500 in St. Louis, but the lake area is really what got hit the hardest. Ameren spokesperson Tony Pirano told Expo on Friday that it was unclear when power would be fully restored. However, as of Monday night, I talked to Emily with Ameren, and she told me that the outage map as of Monday was still showing about 220 customers without power. This is not related to the Friday outages. That was new because a vehicle broke a telephone pole.
Wow.
And so that caused additional outages. And so it looked like all of the winter storm outages were restored and back to power. And then, of course, they had something else happen. But the outage map is actually available on Ameren's website. And could you imagine, did you guys get hit with loss of power?
Nope, we had our power throughout, and this was the Friday before Christmas, so a lot of people in town, a lot of families and tough times. That's no fun. And plus, I think it got down to like 6 below zero that night.
Yeah, in the wind gust, it made the wind chill negative 30 below.
Yep.
It was intense, and I'm telling you, the difference between that negative 30 wind chill to the next 2 days later, when it was like 28, 30 degrees, it felt so much warmer when it warmed up. I mean, that's literally 60-degree difference, and still you're under freezing. Feels warm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you really feel for those people. And then there was a local church in Camdenton, I think it was a Camdenton Community Church, that took in a lot of homeless people over Christmas because of that winter snap and stuff like that. So they were feeding them, letting them stay, in the warmth and stuff like that. That was so cool. Congratulations, Camdenton Community Church, for stepping up and doing that.
Yeah, great shout out too. That's really what churches should do in a situation like that, being the hands and feet. So you gotta love that. All right, so over and past Christmas, maybe you used a real Christmas tree. Hey, if you did, don't throw that baby out.
Do you still use a real Christmas tree?
I do not.
No,
do
we
you?
don't either. No.
But the smell of the real pine.
Oh yeah, that is good.
But I'm fine with not having all the needles and stuff
too.
to clean up afterwards. But hey, a lot of times you might just drag that off into the woods. You might throw it away. You might burn it. But hey, actually, do not. You actually make for great fishing beds. A lot of you familiar with fishing around the lake probably know that. But Missouri Department of Conservation uses Christmas trees for fish habitat in regional ponds and lakes as well. And they're inviting Missourians to drop off their live Christmas trees to be used for habitat improvement around central Missouri. The Missouri Department of Conservation is going to accept trees at Central Regional Office any time of the day through the end of January. So you literally have 5 weeks to get that Christmas tree to the Central Regional Office. They do ask remove all decorations and bring the tree to drop it off at that Central Regional Office. But they say submerged Christmas trees make great underwater cover for smaller fish and aquatic invertebrates, said MDC Fisheries biologist Brian McKeague. Larger fish then congregate around these structures to prey on those little fish that are inside and other food sources. So these trees become big-time hotspots for fish and for anglers. So don't throw that tree out.
Yeah.
Either, I don't know, I didn't find out, but I don't know if they recommend you throw it in the lake yourself or if you're supposed to not do that.
Either way, it's like, and again, fishermen know that, call them crappie beds. And so you tie a weight on the bottom of it, with wire and, cinder blocks, couple of cinder blocks, or, a cement-filled 5-gallon bucket or something to hold those trees down. And then a lot of people will do that right around their dock, right, so that they can fish off their dock, because because the fish do come to these places, make them nice little habitats. So absolutely, the key is getting something heavy enough to keep those trees down, and that they're down far enough that they're not going to cause a problem to boats going over the top of them.
You sound like quite the expert here. Are you a seasoned, experienced crappie bed creator?
No, but I have done some research because at some point in time, when I have time to fish, I'm planning on putting a lot of crappie beds right around my dock.
Lake TV keeps you so busy that a lot of your previous hobbies and habits have went to the wayside.
Right, yeah, absolutely. We're just having so much fun doing this,
right?
That I haven't time to do that. But at some point I will.
Who has time for fishing when you're getting 2 million views over 100 weeks? And
yeah, it's just a rumor to me that there's fish in the lake.
Right, yeah, I wouldn't know either. So don't forget about that. If you go on to the Missouri Department of Conservation's website, you can find out more, and they'll show you where that central location is. All right, our next segment, it's our weekly Hometown Hero presented by Central Ozarks Medical Center. And this week, it's Bryant and Nicole Bundick, and they are some of the best people you'll ever meet, according to Megan Albers, who nominated them. Both of them are quick to treat people with kindness, compassion, and love, no matter who you are or where you come from. Bryant is incredibly giving and gifted through his involvement in Osage Hills, and he's also a personal trainer. His business, Gifted Fitness, fitting name, right? And then he's with friends and his family, and he helps a lot of not just friends and family, but other people through his business. Now, Nicole is one of the realest people that Megan has ever met. She inspires countless people to be their most authentic selves, and she doesn't apologize for it. She's bold, strong, and absolute bad A. Together, they're setting the bar high for all parents. Megan says that the way that Nicole and Bryant parent their incredible kids is truly the best parenting she's gotten to witness, and she says she's so thankful to know them both, and her life wouldn't be a lot less bright without them. I can mimic some of those thoughts. I've gotten to know Bryant and Nicole through Osage Hills. Bryant on the praise and worship team, Nicole very active, and they're great family, really overcome all odds, and Bryant with his business on the praise and worship team, pretty incredible. And so they were nominated by Megan Albers, who's on staff here at Lake TV, and I think that they are a great choice. Chris, we love you guys, appreciate all you do, and congratulations on being this week's Central Ozarks Medical Center's Hometown Hero.
Fantastic, man. It's just, I think we undervalue in our society today the importance of parents, parenting, good parents, and a strong family.
100%.
The breakup of the family over the last few decades has had a terrible effect on our country, and so it's good to see nice, young, good, strong families.
Yeah, and you'll notice with the times that we're in the mental health crisis, that actually kids now face a ton more pressure and obstacles to overcome than they ever have. And so parenting in 2022, when you're trying to deal with your own situation and trying to keep yourself healthy, I know I, for one, don't know how parents do it with more than one kid. Unique and I doing the best we can. At times you just are like, man, how do we do this? And with all those pressures and stresses out there today, kids have it a lot different than they might have when I was growing up or when you were growing up. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, parents really do have such an important role as the future of our society takes shape.
Absolutely.
And so good parents, hard to come by, Chris.
Yep, absolutely, and so incredibly important.
All right, so as we get into sports, the Chiefs got a big win Sunday against Seattle at Arrowhead, but only a 2-score lead against a subpar Seattle team. Even though they won by 2 scores, following, and you've said it week in and week out, that you don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, that you don't think they're even going to get there, but tied right now at 12-3 with Buffalo, although Buffalo has the tiebreaker. This week the Chiefs have the Broncos, and the Bills are at Cincinnati on Monday night. How do you see the AFC shake it out? I know you don't think the Chiefs are there, so do you think Buffalo's going to take the 1 seed?
Well, I think Cincinnati's going to beat Buffalo this week, and if that happens and Kansas City wins out, the Chiefs will have the number 1 seed, home field advantage through the AFC playoffs. If the Chiefs lose a game and Cincinnati wins out, they will have the number 1 seed. If everybody, just wins out, Buffalo. So those 3 teams, and I do think Buffalo and Cincinnati are the powers in the AFC. I think those are the top two teams. I actually think Cincinnati might be better. And we'll see how that goes. But the Chiefs, the Chiefs are so hard to figure out because they can beat anybody on any given day. The problem is they usually don't show up with that kind of a game, So I think it's either going to be Buffalo or Cincinnati. And on the other side, I don't see anybody beating Philadelphia as long as they're healthy.
Unless you're the Cowboys.
I don't think the Cowboys, Cowboys beat the Eagles last week, but the Eagles were without Jalen Hurts. And the Eagles probably should have won that game. So I think they're a better team.
I'm sorry, I really stopped listening when you said that Cincinnati was going to beat Buffalo Monday night.
I can tell by all your facial expressions.
Did you start drinking alcohol this morning? We're on this train together, Chris. We're on the Bills train. They're taking the AFC, and now all of a sudden we get to a big primetime game, season on the line, the one seed hanging in the balance, and you go with Cincinnati for our 100th episode. Have you lost your mind?
If they were playing in Buffalo, I'd go with the Bills. But since they're playing in Cincinnati, I actually think Cincinnati is again, maybe this year, the best team in the AFC. I know they're better than the Chiefs. They beat them straight up. I don't know if they're better than the Bills. We'll find out this week.
I'm so glad that you're not in first place and pick them. And there's a reason why, because you do things like pick against the Bills.
I'm just playing possum. I'm going to catch you.
Yeah, we'll show you a possum here in just a minute. All right, so Mizzou.
That's your possum right here.
So Mizzou went bowling over the Christmas break in the Gasparilla Bowl. Boy,
What's
they
that?
look terrible. We're going to tell you here in just a second. But they lost 27-17, finished the season 6-7, now 0-2 under Elijah Drinkowitz in bowl games, and both really subpar opponents they should have beat the last 2 years. You got Dominic Lovick and Tarski Dove, both transferring, two of the best receivers on the team. The recruiting class for 2023, 13th of 14th in SEC schools. Now 40th overall in the country, which looks impressive unless you're playing in the SEC, meaning 12 other of the 13 opponents in the SEC have a better recruiting class. Quarterback situation, I look at Mizzou. Brady Cook, only a sophomore. I'm not sure. Eli Drinkowitz extended through 2026. How do you feel after this season for the Missouri Tigers?
I feel hopeful for Mizzou because they did take a step forward this year. They were better this year than they were last year. They had some big wins. That Arkansas win was huge. They should have beaten Auburn. They blew that game. So I think they're getting a little bit better. You're right, though. You're playing in the SEC, the hardest conference in the world. It's hard to win games in the SEC.
Not counting that you're losing two of your best players to the transfer portal on offense, three of your best players on defense in the transfer portal, plus your recruiting class last year was historically the best ever in the history of Mizzou. A lot of those guys are leaving. And so Missouri now, not a good recruiting class, losing a lot in the transfer portal. I'm not excited in this offseason for Missouri football.
I hate that transfer portal.
It's
because there's no stability anymore in college football.
Accountability, no stability. You don't know who's offering what. So many under-the-table deals, the NIL, the endorsement, the signing. It's gotten out of control, and there's really going to be no way to stop it. It's now become basically the free agent pool, teaching these kids that you don't have to stick to anything. You want something better, the grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah. You're seeing it now. Kids transferring 2, 3, 4 times in their college career because they keep hopping ship.
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, Mizzou basketball, fast start, really good bounce back after the Kansas loss. Largest win ever in the Bush bragging rights. 21 points, Chris. They shot 59% from the field, 50% from deep.
Beating Illinois.
16th ranked team in the country. Now listen, Illinois is young. Very, very young, but Missouri really played well, led by as many as 35 in that game, ended up winning by 22 points. Kobe Brown, more points than anyone in the history of that rivalry, 31 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Missouri had 23 assists to 10 for Illinois, 13 steals to 6 for Illinois. Missouri only turned it over 10 times. I know it's been a weak schedule, but at 11-1, Missouri looks like they can play with about anybody.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if that Kansas game was a bit of an anomaly or if that was really a preview into against good talent.
We'll find out in the SEC because there's a lot of good basketball teams in the SEC too.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to ask you, what is a Gasparilla?
I don't have any idea.
Andrew found out. Jose Gaspar, also known as Gasparilla, is a mythical Spanish pirate. How
Really?
cool is that for Missouri?
Wow.
Not only you don't make a real bowl game, you're playing in one named after a mythical pirate, and you lose.
Wow.
Really sad. Do want to give a shout out to you, Kevin, and Andrew. You guys tied for first place this week.
That's right.
Andrew still has a 5-point lead for first. You gained some points on me, only 2 points back of me. Pretty good week for Lake TV, guys. Thanks for tuning in for episode number 100. For Uncle Chris, I'm Wild Will. We'll see you guys next week.